Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is January 25th, 2023. And this flat correction that we're doing on this crucial resistance, right, level, this 434-day resistance level that we recently broke and now are retesting as support. As so, this intrawave correction may very well be finished, which means that the general trend the general trend of the market continuing the uptrend may very well proceed very soon, if not imminently. So we're gonna look at that today. Hope everybody's doing well. It's kind of rainy, cold and rainy in the DC metro area, but all is well. All right, let's get into it. Let's start off with this chart, the Bitcoin USD chart on the hourly time frame. And as you can see, I drew in this flat correction, okay? A flat correction in Elliott wave theory is simply just, as you can see schematically, an ABC correction or a WXY correction, but it typically just looks like this, something like this. It's relatively flat, okay? And so what I'm seeing here are three waves, all right? I see the first wave, the second wave, and then a pivot, and a third wave. Okay, and those three waves may very well be the final three waves of this correction, right? The main three waves. Yesterday, I was saying how it was, let me get rid of this, and let's just mark it up. Yesterday, I was saying how this was likely the end correction, and I made that analysis based off of the time it took to do this correction and the time it took us to make 5 waves up, okay? But now it's more likely that this is a contiguous correction, okay? And so that previous analysis is more likely than not invalid. That changes things slightly in that it's more likely than not. How does that change things? Well, how it changes things in the short term is that this then becomes your consolidation reversal pattern, okay? I was saying how this was your consolidation reversal pattern, but no. If this is the correction, then this is your consolidation reversal pattern. And that's more what you typically get. Consolidation reversal patterns are tough to track, as we've discussed on the channel at length. You don't know how big they are. Sometimes they're bigger than the correction themselves itself. Sometimes it takes longer than the correction itself. But typically, they're an addendum to the correction, meaning you would have the correction be like this big, and then the consolidation reversal be considerably smaller. So this falls in line rather, with what we typically see on the charts. So that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. I see that in this somewhere you will have 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot, okay? And so if we go on an even smaller time frame, we can look at what that may look like. Let's see, let's try our hand. Let's say that this is the pivot and this is the impulse, okay? So this is the pivot, and this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the impulse, okay? So judging by that, this is our initial break of structure right here. Right there. That was where this trend, this impulse, finished this flat correction. So let me just go step by step. I'm not going to assume anybody knows what I'm talking about. So again, this is the flat correction, okay? And as I've been saying all week, you're likely to see these running flat corrections where the last wave, in this case likely the C wave. And why is this not a WXY? I think it's just a run-of-the-mill ABC, because you see 3 waves here, 3 waves there, pivot, and then a clean 5 waves down. So that's conventional. There's nothing complex about that. So that's why I'm labeling it ABC. So I would say this is the C wave right here, right there, okay? And it is a running flat because this C wave, do you see, it doesn't reach that level. It doesn't go down as far as this this A wave went, this initial break of structure, okay? So that's the first thing. Okay, so if I'm counting this as the impulse to finish the correction, then everything that comes after is part and parcel of my consolidation reversal pattern. So now let's zoom into that. Okay, so before you start counting consolidation reversals, you always have to identify the orthodox low, meaning the last wave, which is impulsive, because every corrective wave ends in impulse, right? A lot of people today, a lot of analysts, a lot of quote-unquote experts, a lot of YouTubers, they're saying, I told you so, Bitcoin's going to crash, it's crashing, it's losing support, all that stuff. And it's because they keep falling into the trap of reading a correction as an impulse, or a counter trend as a trend. Okay, and I think this is an important point to make, so I'm just going to make it before counting the consolidation reversal. Let's go on the 4-hourly trend to make this point. And I think it's quite simple. You don't have to be some master Elliottian to figure this out. This is quite clearly the trend. This is quite clearly what the price has done. This is quite clearly corrective. This is quite clearly corrective. We call this intrawave corrective because it's likely that the trend continue after the intrawave correction is finished, as we've seen here. Intrawave correction, continuation. That's pretty straightforward, right? A lot of YouTubers are looking and seeing this and saying, well, we got some downside price action. Again, that's being myopic. That's not having any context. That's not being able to read price action and understand on a higher time frame. You don't even have to go that high of time frame. I'm on a 4-hourly time frame. Seeing the trend and respecting the trend and understanding what a trend is. And I get it. We just came out of a 230-day sideways market. So anything that went up wasn't a trend. It was corrective. And it came back down. And so a lot of people are just thinking that this is a continuation of corrective price action. But we've been saying that this is more likely than not a bona fide trend. A bona fide impulsive price action that will obviously print these intrawave corrections, because nothing goes up in a straight line. You always have to correct. You always have to break strong resistance on the way up, retest it as support, continue, and just go on like that. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people are freaking out because we came back down, and I don't know, maybe they don't know what a flat correction is, or they're not comfortable or familiar with corrective price action. So they're reading this as negative, they're reading this as bearish, and they think it's going to come down all the way here and all that stuff. They don't even have this 434-day resistance now turned into support on their charts for some reason, right? See, like, you can do this. You do not have to rely on anybody. You don't have to rely on me. This is really straightforward. Yes, it can get tricky. For instance, we're just going to count these consolidation reversal channels, or this consolidation reversal channel, these consolidation reversal waves. That's probably as complex as it gets. But, take it a step at a time, keep it really stupid simple, and you can out trade, you can out analyze most of these big channels that literally have no clue what they're talking about. They're grasping at straws. How did we get this line? If you've been watching the channel, we simply drew a trend line. This is really simple. You know, a kid can do this. Like, you just look at trends and you see, okay, that clearly is respecting some sort of pattern. You draw the trend line, you have more than 2 touch points, and then you see that, okay, the price broke through. I understand not every trend line is significant. I know a lot of trend line traders, a lot of trend line analysts, they draw trend lines everywhere, right? They got like crypto faces spider lines all over the chart. So, the better you get, the more you understand what's significant, what's not significant, right? You can draw trends for days, but price isn't not necessarily going to respect all of your trend lines, but that comes with experience. But something like this that we drew on the chart, why did we draw it and why did we keep it? And we have it on all of our charts, actually. If you go through, you can see on most of our charts we have these high time frame trend lines. It's because crypto has been in a downtrend for about 500 to 600 days, right? Specifically 434 days for Bitcoin, and that's just been broken. So that's significant, right? The fact that it's a long time frame or high time frame trend, and the fact that it has multiple touch points, right? There's consistency. The price actually has respected that trend. So, it's not that complicated. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. All right, so now let's get into some, tricky, complex stuff. Literally, this is as complex as the analysis gets on my end, I think. Counting AB bases, right? And do you need to do this? No, you don't. But, that's just what I like to do. This is part of my way of analyzing charts. But it doesn't, just because you can't do this, doesn't mean you can't do the, rudimentary analysis that enables you to understand what levels you're dealing with and where you're at, and, how to trade those levels and what's more likely to happen than not. Okay, so we said that this was likely the orthodox low for that move. This is the conclusion of that ABC flat correction. So I would start counting my AB base, my consolidation reversal pattern from this point right here, okay? And very quickly, what's a consolidation reversal pattern? Every single time price trends in one direction on whatever time frame, it needs to go through processing an intermediary sort of process to then change the trend, okay? So the trend on the small time frame, right, on the 15-minute time frame, was down. It goes through, and then it goes up, okay? So in these AB bases, as I call them, or Ralph Nelson Elliott calls them, you should be able to read 2 degrees of AB basing in a pivot. Understand that it's not only in Elliott wave theory that we have this concept. It's not it's not isolated, or it's not limited to just Elliott wave theory. In Wyckoff analysis, this is probably the main or most important aspect of Wyckoff analysis, okay? And it's called accumulation and distribution channels, okay? So if you study Wyckoff, you see the same thing. It's the same shit. AB basing in Elliott wave theory is the same thing as accumulation and distribution channels in Wyckoff, okay? So here's my A wave, my B wave. That's my first degree of AB basing. Right here, A and B, big A and big B. I think this is my second degree right here. Okay? So big A, big B, small a, small b, I would call them. This is just, my appellations. This is just the way I annotate. But essentially, I see 2 degrees of AB basing in a pivot, and here's my pivot. Boom. That's my pivot right here. And so my actual trend, the new trend, starts here. Okay? And so I have a 5-wave move and a 3-wave move. And then now a 3-wave move. And then a 4-wave. Right? Something like that. So I count 2 degrees of AB basing and pivot. It could be wrong, but it's likely that at this point we do get a breakout there. In terms of pattern analysis, if you just look at this in terms of pattern analysis, what are you getting here? This is an inverse head and shoulders or a double bottom. And this is the breakout of the main resistance, okay, of the main neckline, okay. So that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. So on the small time frames, I think we're done. I think we're going to continue that trend to the upside, right? And you should be able to see this throughout the market, right? Because the market is conjoined. It is, it's everything's dancing to the same tune. And I really love how on the momentum indicator, on the 4-hourly time frame, you can see we've double bottomed here. Okay, so this double bottom, this this ABC flat correction has produced on your 4-hourly time frame momentum indicator, your stochastic RSI, a nice double bottom with which we can expect some upside, right? So that's completely oversold. So that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. I'm not at all bearish. I don't see the bearishness. But again, if you have no context, you could be bearish forever, because anytime it goes down, you get spooked. Hello, Akanksha. What's up? So yeah, now what we should do is have a glimpse at the DXY. The DXY has been playing in this range for a couple of weeks now, okay? And what we're waiting is for it to finally break down from this range, which should coincide with big moves in crypto, big moves in stocks. The interesting thing is, this range is obviously, it's been a point of contention. But if you look on a higher time frame, so I'm gonna just jump into the weekly, for instance. Okay, what do you see here? That level that we're at, this level rather, that we're at, is crucial support. It represents crucial support for the US dollar. If the US dollar loses this, now it's over, right? It has to come down to these levels and then consolidate somewhat, do an accumulation, just like we just discussed, some AB basing, before making its way back up. So this is the final level at which, if let's say people are bullish on the DXY and saying, oh, it's just taking a little rest, this is literally it. If it loses this level, it's absolutely going down, and it's likely to do so. So that's on the high time frame. On the small time frames, as we saw, it's been playing or flirting on that support level and likely to lose it. When will it lose it? I'm not exactly sure. Excuse me. How do you read this? It's probably some sort of complex flat correction, some double or triple three, something like that, right? Like some W, X, Y, X, Z, something. I don't know, okay? But what you're looking at as an analyst is just a trend, a consolidation. You're looking for continuation of the trend. That's simple, okay? So yeah, I believe that is actually going to happen sooner than later. So I wouldn't be surprised if this breakdown coincided with a breakout in Bitcoin. As we know, Bitcoin is at a crucial support level, okay? This line, don't forget, represents the downtrend since November of 2021. 434 days of bear market price action downside, okay? So if this moves up, and at the same time DXY is breaking that high time frame, also I believe, let's go back to the DXY for a second. So we would be breaking 434-day resistance, or we would be launching off from 434-day support, probably better said, right? In Bitcoin, and on the DXY, we would be breaking this level of support that has lasted 238 days, which It's not an accident. If you look at the Bitcoin chart, I'm sure you guys know this. If you guys follow the channel or you're subscribed, you understand that this bear market accumulation lasted approximately 230 days. Okay, so the time. This is the weekly time frame, so it's a bit skewed. But if you go on the daily, you can see it more careful, or you can see it more precisely. Let's see. Let's see. You see? Something like that. 210 days, 230 days. Yeah. 200. Why is it 210 days all of a sudden? I've been counting 230 days for the longest time. In any case, it's comparable to the time it's taken the DXY to play above that support that we're about to break. Okay, so very interesting. Now let's look at some altcoins, because as we're saying that Bitcoin is likely to launch and go up quite a lot, quite violently, I might add, from here, right? You're not gonna break 434-day resistance and retest it as support and just gingerly and nonchalantly matriculate up. No. You're going to break up violently. So I am expecting a violent move in Bitcoin, which you should see sooner than later. But if you've been watching and following the charts, if you've been paying attention, which I'm pretty sure you are, people who are subscribed to this channel are typically, followers of the charts. They're technicians themselves. You guys are technicians. You're also probably seeing that some altcoins have already broken out. So let's look. Cardano. Not yet. It's still kind of where Bitcoin is. Okay. We've retested this accumulation, bear market accumulation channel. We've retested this, this 500-day drawdown or downtrend. We've come up with this. Actually, Cardano's already printed that first wave. If you look at this, what you see, if just basic Elliott wave analysis, is you can clearly see that this is a 5-wave move, okay? And you can clearly see that this is a 3-wave move, okay? So 5 waves up, 3 waves down. Also, the thing you can clearly see is that, if you need to take your Fibonacci retracement level, you can, but you don't typically need to in this case. It's quite clear what you're looking at if you're used to looking at these things. But you can see that this 3-wave move has clearly respected the 0618 and to the T. Look at that. All right, I'm going to make that a little bigger for those of you who may not be able to see. Right there, look at that. So Cardano went up 5 waves, right? It went up 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it came down right to the 0618, literally to the penny, right? And from there, you get your AB basing, and now you're going to continue in a big way because you're going to be printing wave 3 of whatever this is. And any wave 3 is typically the most impulsive, the longest, the most intense of the impulse waves, right? Of the trends in a trending market. So that's really cool. So that's what you're seeing on Cardano. And that's pretty much done and ready to go, right? This AB base on a small time frame looks finished. Okay, it looks finished. We're not going to go on the small time frame and count it, but you can do that on your own time if you're interested. More practice makes better. Just track them, see if you can't suss out some patterns. You're seeing the same thing in Algorand, almost exactly the same thing as Cardano right here. You came up, you retested this bear market accumulation channel, you retested this 400 to 500 day downtrend, and Algorand has also put in its 5 waves up, 3 waves down. Okay, same thing. Take your Fibonacci retracement level if you can't eyeball it, and you can see that these 3 waves come between the 0382 and the 0618 Fibonacci retracement of these 5 waves. And subsequent to that, you get your consolidation reversal channel, which should take you into wave 3. That wave 3 is going to be massive. Don't be surprised if the wave 3 is extended. Okay, I would not get in the way of an extended wave 3. I was listening briefly to Crypto Banter this morning, and Rand, he's not a technician, but he was saying how he's going to tell the listeners he's bullish right now, but he's going to get into some shorts in the near future, and he's going to tell people when. That's the last thing you want to do. If you can recognize a trending market, whether bullish or bearish, unless you're really, really good and like you're tried and true, you have a track record for winning as a counter trader, you do not want to fuck around and counter trade a trending market. That is literally the hardest thing you can do. It's kind of like standing in front of playing chicken with a train. It's stupid. It's high risk, low reward. It's high risk, low reward. But I mean, sometimes you learn best by making mistakes. So if you guys want to try, let me know how it works. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check on something. Alright, sorry about that. Osman says, hi Dean, thanks for the stream. When you have a chance, can you take a look at ALBT? Akansha says, can you look into Fetch AI token? I'm researching it. Sure, let's add those and have a look at them in a moment. So let's actually, okay, I'm going to add those in a second, because I don't think I have them in my list. Okay, so that was Algorand. Let's move on. Okay, am I unmuted? Making sure. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Okay, Bonk. This hasn't gone yet. Still been in that massive AB base. Let's try that again. Okay, that's nicer. But yeah, big sell-off from the token being airdropped and people selling and, just taking profit kind of stupidly, because you're literally at the beginning of a bull run. You have a token, a meme token, and you're selling it? Dude, just hold for a little bit. But, to each his own. The people who sold here are going to be so sorry, because this is going to rip. This is a very nice consolidation reversal channel, absorbing all of this supply at cheaper prices, for people like me, who are like, oh, cool, look at what I found. You guys are selling, thank you. Selling at the beginning of a bull market. So you're able to buy this so much cheaper than you would have been able to. And basically, after something like this, the price just marks up. That's exactly what happens. This is why you have consolidation reversal channels. That's their purpose, technically speaking. And this looks very healthy, right? If you're looking at Bonk's chart, I know a lot of people who can't read charts, who don't understand, why you have sell-offs when, you have new tokens. They say it's a scam. People got scammed, all that stuff. That's complete bollocks. You look at it, it looks super healthy, looks super good. This is very exciting. If you count 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot, after that is done, at some point in time, it's going to go and it's going to rip This is going to be probably one of the best performers, just based off of the fact that it's such a small market cap, right? It's going to be super volatile to the upside. I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. Okay, Dent. All of these kind of are giving you the same vibes, right? You're seeing the same thing. And this is kind of why we look at Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Actually, these are ahead of Bitcoin. These are ahead of Bitcoin. Can you guys already see most of these altcoins are ahead of Bitcoin? You came up, you broke that high time frame resistance, you retested it already, and you put in that initial Elliott wave, okay? This is your initial Elliott wave, your 5 wave up, 3 wave down, respecting the 382, the 3 waves down fall between the 382 and the 618 of the prevailing 5 waves up. I mean, and you can clearly see it, right? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and here you have an A, B, C. It's very clear, right? And the time it takes, right, for the 5 waves up, the time it takes for the 3 waves down, they're comparable, right? Waves of the same degree are comparable in time and price. I think it's very, very straightforward, not controversial at all to label this wave 1, label that wave 2. You're looking for wave 3. These are easy trades, right? And you're just now coming out, I believe, of that small AB base. So yesterday, you just completed this 3-wave move, and that makes this analysis a lot more clear, because that honestly, like, it wasn't super clear what was going on here. I didn't really know. I'm like, is that the first wave? But now it's clear. The first wave ended here. That's the second wave. Okay? Sometimes you don't know until it prints. This is why, you know, we're not all Brazilianaires. No matter how good your theory is, it's hard to always, like, foresee what's going on, what's going to happen. Same things, just repetition. I heard, very briefly, Sheldon the Sniper saying how, you know, altcoins were lagging Bitcoin. That's absolutely false. Look at it. Up, down. You retest a high time frame resistance, making it support. You put that 5-wave move in, that 3-wave move down, and now you're continuing up. If you need a reminder where Bitcoin's at, you can clearly see Bitcoin hasn't yet put in that first move from its high time frame resistance, right? This is Bitcoin's high time frame resistance of 434 days. It's just retested it. All these other altcoins have not only retested it, but bounced off of it and put in at least that first wave. So you can already see from the charts that these altcoins are already in alt season. They're already outperforming Bitcoin, okay? In terms of bull market performance. Where were we? Were we Dodo? Yeah, I think we just did Dodo, yeah? I mean, all these charts are looking the same. I hope you guys see. This is pretty straightforward analysis. This is pretty straightforward analysis. You came and you retested this high time frame downtrend. You put in one wave, an Elliott wave, and you put in a counter wave to that Elliott wave. So you put in a wave 1 and a wave 2, and now you're going for wave 3. That's it. That's what you see in Dogecoin. Very nice. In Dogecoin, it's interesting that this this wave 2 is a flat. Okay, typically we expect wave 2 to be a zigzag, but this is a WXY. No, or is it an ABC? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. You could say it's an ABC. It's just funky. Because it's a flat correction, do expect when after Dogecoin puts in wave 3, and wave 3 is going to be crazy. Don't try to count it while it's happening. Just get in, enjoy the ride. Once it finishes, you'll know. Maybe you won't, because it's going to probably be extended. This is where the violence comes in. Because you're like, oh, it must be finished. It must be finished. Don't try and think that in a bull market that's just getting started, that wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 is just going to print just, casually to the 1618 or 2 Fibonacci extension. It may, but it may easily print to the 4236 or something really extended, right? So, this is when we have fun. We just enjoy the fruits of our labor, the fruits of our analysis. Here is Ethereum. Now, Ethereum, kind of like Bitcoin, has just made its way up, breaking that high time frame resistance here, I would say, and just now retested it. Okay, kind of retested it. I would say this is the retest right there with this flat correction. Okay, so it's kind of like Ethereum is doing well, but it's a lot of these altcoins, and you should expect that these smaller cap altcoins that we've been looking at, Dodo, what else are we looking at? Dogecoin. They're smaller cap. They're smaller market cap than Ethereum, than Bitcoin, so they're likely to be more volatile. Litecoin. Okay, this retested its high time frame downtrend, back here. So now it kind of retests the bear market accumulation, and this is a first wave, I believe, of a different degree, a smaller degree. Okay, so this is kind of already in its uptrend. It's very, very firmly and well established in its uptrend, and it's already forming waves and subwaves in Litecoin is. So you can kind of see that, and it's kind of true. If you've been trading Litecoin for some time, you've probably been in profit for quite some time, and the smart trade is not to overtrade. You just leave it. So I look at my Litecoin. I was starting to do my taxes. As Americans, we have taxes due every April, unless you delay. And, one of the few assets that I've held on spot throughout the end of 2022, early 2023, that was in profit, like consistently, was Litecoin. This has been performing very well because just bought and held and didn't get scared out of that position because I was always looking for that bull market. RSR has yet to break this high time frame downtrend, so expect that to come, retest, and then continue. Okay. SHIB, very nice, very nice. I mean, look at this fucking uptrend. Like, imagine not thinking this is bullish or this is a bull market. You don't get stuff like this in a bear market. Like, this kind of price action does not exist in a bear market. Doesn't. Not the character. Obviously, you get uptrends in a bear market, but the character of this, and specifically I'm talking about the parabolic nature of the rise. I'm also talking about the hashed staccato, like kind of the fact that it's basically by hook and by crook, it's working through all these resistances and just pushing through. It has a lot of momentum. This has a lot of momentum. Because you can tell there's a lot of resistance that it's working through, and it has so much pressure behind it, buying pressure. It's still going. So you could see that, this is clearly a trend, a counter trend. It should continue. Okay, and you retested that high time frame downtrend right here, and you're just going to continue, right? This is going to continue for quite some time. Same thing with synthetics. You can see a very nice retest of that high time frame resistance down here. Expect it to continue. You put kind of like a lot of the other altcoins we saw, you put in wave 1, wave 2 here. Expect to see wave 3. Okay, and when I say wave 3, I mean of that degree. Again, remember, in an uptrend, just like if you zoom out on the weekly and you look at the master chart of Bitcoin, you'll see there's a cycle wave, a primary wave, an intermediate wave, a minor wave, a minute wave, and so on and so forth. You basically see all of these various degrees of uptrends. So you're like, oh, just waiting for wave 3. That'll just take us to the 30s. Like, understand that wave 3 then has 5 waves, and then the next wave up has 5 waves, and then you can just keep subdividing. And the way a trend works is it just keeps going. It just keeps going based off of the high time frame analysis. So you shouldn't really worry and wrap your head around how it's going to get there and how many degrees of waves it's going to do. Just don't worry about it. Make the high time frame analysis as we've done on this channel, going on the weekly, looking at the potential targets, and then expecting something similar. That's why we have targets. That's why we have benchmarks, or not benchmarks, but guidelines, so that we're not shocked if Bitcoin goes to 6 figures, which a lot of people will be shocked. We're not shocked because we've seen it in our analysis. We're prepared for that. We're prepared for the upside. And let me say this. If you are not prepared for, a lot of people do predictions, some people don't do predictions because, one, they can't. They don't have the skills to do the predictions. And 2, they think it's just for YouTube views. And they think, oh, you're just doing price predictions because it gets clicks and people are going to discuss and argue and, call you smart or crazy or bear or bull, whatever. If you're a real analyst, and then, right, some people do it and other people don't do it, obviously because they can't, and they think it's completely sensational. I've already said that. Why do we do it as serious analysts? It's because it allows us to have perspective on the move, so we're not caught unawares when we get to a certain level and say, oh my god, I always told myself, like, this is a lot of profit, I've got to sell because I've never imagined it could get to this price, when in actuality you're lowballing yourself. Do you see what I mean? That's why you do the predictions. That's why you do the high time frame analysis, so you're prepared. So if Bitcoin goes to 6 figures, I'm not touching any of my positions. And you guys know very well why. I talked about it yesterday, right? Bitcoin goes to 7 figures, okay, I'm paying attention. But 6 figures, I'm fine. I'm not touching it. Okay? That's why you prepare with the high time frame analysis. And you're not overly concerned with a how. Like, how will this asset matriculate up until that level? Whatever. It's not that important. Okay. Tron. High time frame analysis shows that this triangle has been in for like 600 days. We came, and this kind of counts as a retest of that resistance into support. Okay, so that's what you're seeing, and basically you're going to get a continuation of the trend. Okay, and that's the title, that's the theme of this episode. The trend is continuing, the intrawave correction is complete. Okay, break of the high time frame resistance, turning it into support, continuing the trend. Here you have a very clear 5-wave, 3-wave move. Expect continuation, right? Very nice on XRP. Very nice. Okay, here, same thing. Zilliqa. Trend, retest with a flat correction of previous resistance, new support. Nice 5-wave, 3-wave continuation. Okay, so you can see that 5-wave move, 3-wave move, continuation. Same story. V-chain, trend, retest that midline of the channel, which is important. It's resistance when you're below it, support when you're above it. We break the resistance, turn it into support, follow it up with a nice 5-wave move, and then a 3-wave move down. Okay, consolidation reversal, the trend continues. Theta, same thing. That retest of important resistance was done down here, and basically what you've been doing is 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up, 3 waves down. You're going to continue this. And in a big trend, something I can point out here, This is wave 1, wave 2. This is also wave 1, wave 2. Does that make sense? This is, let's say this is a primary wave 1, primary wave 2. This now is the intermediate wave 1, intermediate wave 2. And expect that to continue on and on and on and on and on until you get to a point where, okay, the trend is dying down, or the trend is, the larger trend that you're putting in is reaching it's reaching maturation, and then you start to put in the final bits of that trend. So you start to complete wave 3 and wave 4, but you're gonna keep printing wave 1 and wave 2, wave 1 and wave 2, wave 1 and wave 2, and go progressively smaller in degree until you reach your high time frame targets. Does that make sense? So really, I guess, beginner, somebody who doesn't really understand Elliott waves is going to count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or something like that. Do you understand? But if you're used to counting waves, if you're used to counting trends, you'll know this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 1, this is wave 2. You're probably going to get another wave 1, another wave 2, another wave 1, another wave 2. But those are all different degrees. Okay, that's a good point, because, you know, that's not something I knew when I first started. Or, you know, if I knew it, I didn't really understand it because, you know, I didn't see and count trends with facility. You know, it was kind of tricky for me. Telcoin, very nice pattern. Clearly a impulse, correction, impulse. Ooh, actually, you know what? Yeah, just barely. Impulse, correction. You're just barely here. I could just eyeball it out of experience. That is dancing on the phi ratio, the 618 of this previous impulse. So yeah, this is another example of a wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2 situation. But it's just different degrees. And you can see, if you do the pattern analysis, nice inverse head and shoulders, breakout, retest, continuation. Okay. Okay, Matic, you've pretty much been stonewalled here. But as I said, and I always say, it's not a rejection if you're consolidating at resistance. Okay, I'll repeat that. It is not a rejection if you're consolidating at resistance. A lot of people say, oh, any sort of, any consolidation or any move away from the direction of the trend is a rejection. That's false. A rejection is that. It's a rejection, and technically a rejection is a corrective move off of the previous trend. Okay? But here, you're just doing an intrawave correction. So that is a consolidation at resistance, and this is the resistance, the top of this bear market accumulation. So you come all the way up here, and you put in a very nice flat correction, 3 waves. You put in your AB base, you know, consolidation move or channel, and expect to continue this trend, right? So the theme of this episode is we have completed the intrawave correction. The trend shall continue. DYDX. Okay, what do you see? You came up to this point of resistance, you put in 3 waves down, now you come up and you're putting in another wave 2, okay? That's what you're seeing. You're going to put in wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2. You're going to keep doing that until, you know, the higher time frame trend is satisfied. But that's what you're seeing there. So you broke that resistance with that move right here, and then on the smaller time frames, you could probably see you're putting in a 3-wave move down, still respecting the 0618 of this prevailing impulse. Okay. So many altcoins, so much good stuff. Okay, trend, retest of high time frame resistance turning into support. Then you get a nice 5-wave move up and a counter wave. Expect that to continue. The trend, the general trend, the larger trend to continue. Okay, that's harmony 1. Moon River. You hit the top of this bear market consolidation, bear market accumulation channel over here. And this was consolidation at resistance. And you did so with this, You did so with this flat correction, proceeded to print another impulse at that same resistance, and proceeded to print another intrawave correction. So you're basically consolidating at resistance, right? Which is very bullish. So 5 waves up, 3 waves down. Expect to continue that trend. Hope that's clear. Hope that makes sense. I think it's pretty straightforward, especially when you're reading impulses that just get started. I think it's quite straightforward. It gets really tricky, and you'll see in a few weeks when we've been printing wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2. It's tough to track where the hell we are. It's like on the small time frames, it's tricky because you're gonna see extensions left and right. You're gonna see ending diagonals galore. It's gonna be like, all right, is this wave finished? Like, when's the correction starting? But at that point, you're not gonna be trading that, or you shouldn't be trading that. You should already just be in the trade and just watching it. You should be observing, right? Because getting into trades at that point in the wave progression is more risky, because you don't know when you're going to put in a higher time frame retracement that would hit your stops or your liquidation points if you're on leverage, or it just gets more risky. So this is when you want to make your entries. You've printed wave 1, wave 2, and then it's quite clear, it's straightforward, So this is self-key, another really volatile small cap altcoin. You can clearly see this is a 5-wave move, and this is a 3-wave move. So expect to continue like this, okay? So that's pretty much it. Let's now get into the 2 altcoins requested. We have ALBT and we have Fetch AI. So let's pull that up. Fetch AI, ALBT. Fetch. Okay, here we go. We'll add this one. And then ALBT, right? ALBT. I don't know if there's such a thing. Did you write that correctly, Osman? ALBT? ALBT? I can't see. I can't find. Okay, let's see. Okay, found it. Sorry. Let's add this one. Okay, let's look at ALBT first. Let's just have a quick glance on the high time frame. Okay, so on the high time frame, I think it's quite clear. You have this channel that's been in since May, okay? And we understand that May was the orthodox low for many altcoins. And then what happened was 200 to 300 days of consolidation reversal, right? AB basing. And finally, what we've gotten recently is a move up and out of that channel. On a smaller time frame, yet we see, I think, a nice 5-wave move, an Elliott wave impulse, and then a 3-wave uh, a three wave, what would you call that? Correction. Okay. So if you pull your Fibonacci retracement level, you can see 5 waves up, 3 waves down. You expect those 3 waves to come down between the 382 and the 618 right here of the prevailing 5 wave. So that is satisfied. You also expect the 5 waves to take just as long as, more or less, just as long as the 3 waves down. You also have that. This is a legitimate 5 wave move, 3 wave up. Expect to continue the trend up and out of this bear market consolidation. So that's the analysis for ALBT. Do expect a move probably up here at least. So big move. I would say that third wave probably gives you a few 100%, 300-400%. All right. At the very least. So what's the other one? Fetch AI. So Fetch AI on a high time frame, hard to tell what we're looking at. Is this corrective? Is this impulsive? Looks corrective to me. Looks like a big corrective jumble. So what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on this. So let's jump down into the daily. Sorry. I want to clean up the chart. Okay. So jump down into the daily. And you can see that this orthodox low was in June, much like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. So you have a drawdown like you've seen, with most other assets. Big drawdown. And then you have big consolidation, big sort of AB base. And now you already have quite a big move up and out of this. Okay. What this looks like right here is a rollover. Okay. Could be wrong because you can get okay. This does look like a rollover. Question is it a rollover of this entire wave, or is this just an intrawave correction and are you expecting another move up? I don't know. That's when it's really tricky to make any entries, late into a wave progression because it is very risky. This could very well do something like this, or it could do something like this. It's tricky. It's tricky. But this looks very nice. It looks like its bull market started down here. Okay, with this wave 1, wave 2. This looks like wave 3. Probably get a wave 4 somewhere here, or maybe wave 3 is going to be extended, right? Who knows? But this looks good. I personally wouldn't get into this at this point because there's no point. There's no point. I mean, you could, and if you're on spot, who cares? You don't have to be so pinpoint with your entries. And if you're your entries, and if you're thinking about what the bull market's going to do, you're definitely going to go up. So if you're on spot, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you're like a stickler for entries and you want to be really careful, this is why I would be skittish about this entry. And I personally would rather enter so many other projects that are down here, right? Look at this. This is the high time frame resistance that we've been drawing throughout the markets, right? On most of all our altcoins, Bitcoin and as well. And you could see we broke high time frame resistance here, retested it as support. Okay, A lot of assets are here, or they're right here. They just put in that first wave 1, wave 2. Do you see? So this altcoin, not too long ago, just a few days ago, put in that a couple 100% to the upside, okay? It put in that rally that we're pretty much now on the brink of for most other altcoins. It already did that. I'm really like, I spent all this time working on, analyzing the markets, building these skills. I'm going to profit from it. If I know that I'm leaving 200% at the base of my entry on the table, I'm not doing it. That's just me. Okay? That's just me. If I'm married to this and I'm like, I want in, I'm just getting in. I don't care. I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to buy spot. Okay? But I'm not trading this on leverage because that's a sloppy ass entry late in the game. But you can see what I mean, right? There's so many other assets, even low cap assets, that are down here, and you're going to get that move. So, if you're just now thinking of getting into this, it's already run. It's not, okay, let me be clear. It's already started to run. It's probably going to go up much, much higher, but I'm not into leaving money on the table given all of the investment I've made into, learning how to read charts and, all that stuff. Like, I'm going to make sure I pay myself well, after doing all this work and effort. So that's my take on Fetch AI, technically speaking. I don't know anything about this, fundamentally, but I'm just speaking to the technicals and its viability as something to trade right here and now. Alright, so that's pretty much it for me, guys. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was useful. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care.